Asteroid shock. SpaceX Starlink to make spotting new city killer space rocks very difficult. Look what it looks like. I mean, it used to be that we had a very clear sky. We could see things very nicely with our telescopes without these Starlink satellites up there. This is an image from last November, 2019. And, you know, he's aiming to put, Elon Musk is aiming to put, I don't know how many tens of thousands more satellites up there. That's just his company. There are other companies as well that want to fill our skies with tens of thousands of satellites. This is just totally impossible to see anything. How can you see anything there? Can you make heads or tails of what this is? This is just amazing. I mean, this is very dangerous. Now, asteroid experts hunting for these new space rocks that are on a potential collision course with our Earth have warned SpaceX in the past, SpaceX Starlink, they could be hiding rogue killer space rocks. Starlink is the Elon Musk-owned SpaceX satellite, as we know. It's a broadband project. It aims to eventually launch tens of thousands of satellites around our Earth to deliver internet around the world. 5G, by the way, and there are a lot of people that are against that, but it's going up anyway. Although admirable, astronomers increasingly believe the Starlink will affect humanity's ability to protect Earth and save itself because of a coming asteroid potential collision. Dr. Jonathan McDowell, astronomer at the Harvard Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics, believes that the nascent Starlink already has adversely impacted their vital search for new asteroids that are able to inflict disaster on our Earth because of impact. This is what he told the media. He says, although SpaceX Starlink is not yet posing a problem for spotting asteroids, it's a nuisance. But Starlink is going to be a problem within a couple of years while they keep putting up all these satellites. There are 300 Starlink satellites up right now, with 60 more going up in a few days. Now, SpaceX is planning for up to 12,000 satellites or even more. Okay, that's their plan. And this is just SpaceX. There are other companies that will do the same thing. So while a constellation of 300 is a pain in the neck, he said, we can handle it, but 12,000 is going to make it very difficult, especially for these near-Earth asteroids. Now, Starlink poses a unique problem for astronomers, as we said, because both their the eventual quantity and their low orbital distance is a problem for astronomers. The astronomers are working in the middle of the night when the sky is in the dark. It's as dark as possible because that's what they want to look into the distance of galaxies to see what is coming at us. Now, what is a close approach to Earth? A near-Earth object, an NEO, is any small solar system body whose orbit brings it to proximity with Earth. And as they orbit the Sun, near-Earth objects occasionally make a close approach to our Earth. Every month, dozens of near-Earth asteroids come within about 4.5 million miles of Earth. That's 0.05 AU. 1 AU is about 92 million miles. It's the distance between the Sun and the Earth. So NEOs are not necessarily currently near the Earth, but they can potentially approach the Earth relatively closely, so it's called a close approach. Now, asteroids on a possible collision course with our Earth are close in the sky to the Sun, meaning astronomers have to look as close to the Sun as possible. But it's unfortunate that this takes place as soon as the Sun sets. That's when they can see it. But this twilight period is exactly when most of the Starlink satellites are illuminated. Even though the Sun is set on Earth, it hasn't set 300 miles up, meaning Starlink satellites are still reflecting our Sun. So at any given time, there could be hundreds of these satellites illuminated as astronomers are trying to see around twilight what is going on in our sky. This is a period known as the astronomical twilight, which is the first few hours of the night. McDowell said, so early in the night, there's going to be lots of these things, making it very difficult to take a picture without one of these things leaving a bloody streak across your image. And I think that will make this science very difficult. In other words, the science of trying to find out what's out there coming close to us. He says if there are 10 streaks on every astronomical image, which I don't think we're going to see, but that's a logical extreme, then you're completely hosed, as we say in America, hosed. It's unclear just how bad it's going to be right now, but it's not an order of magnitude away from the really bad case. And he says even if Starlink ends up being not so bad, allowing astronomers to work around it without an extreme amount of effort, the next constellation might be worse. It's not out of bounds that someone could put up a constellation that would make this kind of astronomy completely impossible. Therefore, I think there needs to be discussion about the night sky as a shared resource for humanity and who should regulate it and who should decide how it gets changed. So, of course, he's right. Now, he says that he believes the only solution for these compromises to be made on both sides. He says SpaceX has said they're going to try and reduce the brightness of their satellites, which might help help a bit, but it doesn't seem like they've been successful on their first try. You know, after their first satellites went up, they said that they would paint them black so they wouldn't reflect the sun. The second ones went up, they didn't paint them, so they're still reflecting. And why didn't they paint them? Who knows? They didn't, so they're still reflecting. He says maybe you could require them to have a little higher orbits, but we're not sure if that's going to help either. He says maybe there's a certain stage carrying capacity of Earth orbit that you're going to have to regulate just how many satellites you can have up there. And that's just not for astronomers. That's just to stop them all hitting each other. We're not far off from that. He says, I think there's going to be some regulation that is not there right now. So hopefully, he says, we can find some happy medium because we all want cheap internet, he says. And we all want the future in which there's lots of industrial activity in space. I think that's cool, he says, but it has to be just like industrial activity on Earth. It has to be done with care and sensitivity to the environment. And so I think that we could find a livable compromise to regulate things on in space as we regulate things on Earth. This is according to Tom Fish on Express UK. And now the space weather. All Sky Fireball Network, we only had 2 fireballs today. And as we know, NASA All Sky cameras scan the skies above the United States for meteoric fireballs. Automated software maintained by NASA's Meteoroid Environment Office, calculating orbits, velocity, penetration in Earth's atmosphere. And we only had 2. And as for the near-Earth asteroids, they track the potential hazardous asteroids, PHAs. The space rocks are larger than 300 feet across that can come close to Earth than about 4.5 million miles. None of the PHAs that are known at this point is on collision course with our Earth, although astronomers are finding new ones all the time. As of today, March 15, there were 2,018 potential hazardous asteroids on their list, and the next one is to come on March 22nd at a distance of 3.5 lunar distances, velocity of about 8.1 kilometers per second, and that's a small diameter of about 100 feet across. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.